What's up, everybody? Valhalla Sports Talk is on the air. What's up, everybody? Baseball is back, ladies and gentlemen. Baseball is back. Earlier this afternoon, Major League Baseball and the Players Union agreed on a new CBA that the owners voted 30-0 to ratify. And so for at least for 5 years, we've got peace in Major League Baseball as far as money is concerned. That stuff on the international draft, the draft of the international players, still to be determined. Rob Parson back up in here. We've got 7 in the house. Again, just a hangout stream tonight, y'all. I'm just kind of hanging out just like the rest of you, waiting for news from Dodgerland. This free agency frenzy they're calling it. We will see. We will see. I haven't seen any movement yet in baseball as far as free agency. Some interesting news I just saw about 46 minutes ago. The Dodgers are still awaiting guidance from Major League Baseball as far as Trevor Bauer is concerned. Per people familiar, league is expected to address the situation in the coming days. That's per Jack Harris, verified on Twitter. What's up, Brett? How you doing, buddy? Salvador Chavez up in here. We've got 7 berserkers in the house. 7 of Thor's berserkers in the house. Again, just a chill stream, y'all. I've got Major League Network on in front of me here, watching for any kind of breaking news. Remember, these teams were not supposed to be talking to any of these players during the 99-day lockout. So our team's going to act quick and worry about being accused of tampering. I guess we're about to find out. But I figured I'd just come on tonight. We'll do a Dodger stream here, kind of a hangout, and see if we get anybody in the house. Moises Alvarez says, let Trevor Bauer play. Let him play. I mean, if he is not guilty of a crime, I don't know. Richard Hole in the house. What's up, Richard? Rob Parsons says, I'm going to sign with LA as a veteran. $3 million per year. Congratulations, Rob. Don't forget about your buddy Valhalla when you get that first check, my man. Don't forget about him. But congratulations. What are you going to be playing? Stephen Curry says, can you bring out the big stick? I did earlier, and it knocked the stream offline when I dropped it on the power cord. What else we got? Go Dodgers, get Freddie Freeman. I'm with you, USC Trojan friend. Let's bring old Freddie home. Mr. Nobody says right now, just repeated the last live hour. May go live again later. Rob asked, did you get your vacuuming done and clean up the dog shit? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Andy Guillen checks in and says, hey, Valhalla, hope all's well. I'm doing well, Andy. How you doing, buddy? But again, we got 40 in the house. I'm refreshing Twitter every other second to see if we got some news. And if we do, we'll go check it out together. If those of you watching the stream, get a little sniff of some news, you let me know and we'll try to find out if it's real. Rob Parsons says, truth. Got it done, buddy. Got it done. 2 shovelfuls of dog poop. And the vacuuming, put some of that little smelly stuff down. Smells good in here. But we've only got 4 in the house. Mr. Nobody says, also a big year of events at Dodger Stadium, especially the All-Star Game. That's probably the biggest event of the season that I'm relieved that they got their crap together today. Because I thought that the fans in Los Angeles were going to miss out on an All-Star Game again, and I'm glad they're not. Wolfie says, I missed the stream. What did I miss? We've got an agreement in Major League Baseball. They're going to play games. It'll be a 162-game season, so a full season. It starts April 7th will be the start of the regular season. Here, March 13th on Sunday, spring training starts. Rob Parsons says, you sure none of it was yours? I'm positive, buddy. I tend not to go outside to take a dookie. Pretty sure it wasn't mine. The Kerm says baseball is back. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Kerm was kind of like me yesterday in the evening. I could tell by his tweets on Twitter that Kerm was about done with the bullshit and was ready for this thing to get going. Robert Galvin checks in and says, let's go, Dodgers, baby. Let's go, man. Let's go. It's time for Dodger free agency. All right, here's a confirmed, actually a verified Twitter account. 3 hours ago, Michael Balco, I don't know who he is. He's a sports journalist, podcast host, featured on ESPN, Rivals, USA Today. He says that Freeman will pick between the Braves or the Yankees once free agency reopens. Well, it's open. It's open. The LA Times sports verified account says Dodgers need to make adding Freddie Freeman their top priority. You know, I was thinking when, I read the Trevor Bauer thing that the Dodgers still don't know what Major League Baseball is going to do, whether they're going to let him play or let them trade him or whatever they want to do. But that's going to kind of hand tie the Dodgers a little bit here as far as free agents, don't you think? The Kerm says, I can't wait to see Carlos Correa at third base for the Dodgers. I'm not like violently opposed one way or the other with the whole Korea thing. USC Trojan fan says, who do you think the Dodgers DH should be? Well, we got to find out who our team is, right? We got to find out who our team is, but I think we've got some pretty good options there. You figure you want to keep Cody in the outfield, right? So I think it's going to end up being a deal between Taylor and Pollock, wouldn't you think? What do you think, USC Trojan fan? We've got 11 in the house. We are literally just waiting for breaking news. The Kerm thinks JT is likely to be the DH for the Dodgers. Pat 1984 up in here. What's up, Pat? Pat and I just came from Bobby's stream. He was doing the Bruins tonight. But this is just a hangout stream on this channel. I'm not trying to be the guy that knows everything. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to hang out with y'all and try to find out together if we get somebody new to wear that Dodger blue and white. USC Trojan fan thinks Pollock will be the DH. The Kerm says you want to see Taylor's versatility in full force. Yeah, I do, Mr. Nobody, every once in a while. Andy agrees Pollock. Pat says, I'm chilling, brother. How you been, big dog? I'm doing good, buddy. Doing good. Life getting back to normal. Life trying to get back to normal. Andrew McCutcheon tweets out, "Welp, where am I signing?" How about Andrew McCutcheon in Dodger blue? The Kerm says if the Dodgers sign Freeman, Lux is likely going to get traded at some point. He follows the Mets, I believe, Rob Parson. I believe that Pat 1984 follows the New York Mets in baseball. But I'm not sure. I know he's a Cowboy fan in football. Mr. Nobody says Sportsnet LA should have its own YouTube channel since it's the home of the Blue. Well, they should probably look into that. Greg Fisher says, hey, it's good to see you again, brother. Cheers to baseball being back. Hell yeah, cheers. Cheers. Johnny Cueto tweets, baseball is back. Vamos. Vamos, says Johnny Cueto. Yep, the New York Mets. Rob Parson. I'm pretty sure that's his squad. All right, so here's something that's kind of interesting, I suppose. Let's check this out. Here's the opening month schedule for the Dodgers. KTW says, let's go, let's go. I did see all that, little beastie. I did see all that. All right, so here's the Dodgers schedule, the opening month. I'm assuming that these Blue games are at Dodger Stadium. So they'll start out with a 3-game series against Colorado starting on the 8th. So the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Then they go to Minnesota for a 2-game set. Then we've got the Reds at home for 4 games, and then the Braves at home for 3 games. Then on the road for a 3-game set in San Diego. Then a 3-game set in Arizona. Actually, on my birthday, they play the Diamondbacks, and then they have Detroit at home on the 29th and 30th. Little Beastie says, vamos, let's go Blue Jays. I don't think we'll get Freeman. I have a feeling we won't. Pat says, Valhalla asked Rob why his wife won't allow him on YouTube after 10 p.m. Rob, are you not allowed? Is your kitchen pass expire at 10 p.m.? Do you turn into a pumpkin at 10 p.m.? He did, Mr. Nobody. Pat says the Broncos got them a nice little team over there in Denver. I don't know. You think Russell Wilson is the guy he was 3 years ago? I don't know. Mr. Nobody said last 2 World Series champions going head-to-head early this year. Yep. That'll be at Dodger Stadium, that 3-game set. Are you not allowed on YouTube after 10 p.m., Rob Parson? I want to know what's going on here. So one thing I did find interesting about how the votes came down today, there were 8 player union representatives. So these are guys that have been voted on by the union to be the main dudes in the negotiations. Those 8 dudes all voted no to the new agreement that they agreed to. All 8 of them voted no. Then they put it out to the player vote, and the players overwhelmingly approved it, ignoring their union leadership. And then the owners came in and voted 30-0 to approve it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Pat says Russ isn't worth all that shit Denver gave up. I thought it was a pretty hefty trade personally, but I've been wrong before. Once or twice. See, like, this is the type stuff that people aren't paying attention. LA Times Sports tweets, sign Freddie Freeman, re-sign Clayton Kershaw, cut Trevor Bauer, find another starter, and a closer. Well, they can't really do anything because they don't know what they're allowed to do with Bauer. They literally don't know what the rules are when we're talking about Trevor Bauer. So that's talking about A, a whole bunch of money. B, about which type of player you need in free agency. So Major League Baseball can't be dragging their feet about telling the Dodgers what they can or can't do with Bauer, because it's handcuffing them for the free agency period, in my opinion. Like, they can't commit big money to a Freddie Freeman while they've still got Bauer's money on their books. Pat says, I told you, Valhalla, he had to leave, bro. Well, I know this is like his work day right now, Pat, is when he's supposed to go to work. Mr. Nobody says you should also connect with other Dodger personalities on social media besides the players, like I have, for more scoops on the blue. All right, well, you let me know when you got some big scoops, and I'll break it for you and give you full credit. The Kerm says the Dodgers are going to have Gratterall as the closer. Stephen Curry checks in. You need to get to Safari West from Chris Bryan. What the hell does that mean? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? David Visaya? Well, let's look him up. All right, so there he is. I'll give him a follow. What is his latest thing? He's literally got baseball is back. Pat says work. The wife says do those dishes, and he calls it work. He's running a full business, Pat. He runs his own business. What's up, Bobby? Bobby in the house. We're just hanging out, waiting for news, Bobby. We're just hanging out, waiting to see if any news breaks. Josh says, I'm going to go see Batman for the third time tonight. I'll have to go. I want to go see that too, Josh. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see that really badly too. Rob says, Pat, I'm on a different site than mate. It's got hub in the name. Goat Hub? Are you on goathub.com again, Rob Parsons? Kangaroohub.com? Oi, oi, oi. Rob be on that kangaroohub.com, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the tail on that roo. Look at the tail on that one. You already saw it, Rob? You already went to see the Batman. I'm Batman. 10 berserkers up in here, up in here. Rob says, nope, I've been banned from Goat Hub. Pat says a new Batman comes out every 6 months. Gaming with Eli says, let's go. Stephen Curry says, can you take a tour? Can I take a tour? What kind of tour am I taking? It didn't sound just like Batman? Did I not sound just like Batman? Yeah, you have a good night too, Bobby. Take it easy. Drive safe going up there tomorrow. I'll talk to you in the morning. I'll check in with you in the morning. Rob says, Pat, this is the best Rue I've ever seen, man. Rob, you better watch out, man. The missus is going to come in and catch you on Rue Hub. Rob's wondering if he can give a Goat Hub tour. Come on, man. Give us some news. Somebody had to be tampering. Oh, he's talking about Batman now. I thought he was still talking about Rue Hub. A lot of whispers about Freeman to the Yankees. Rob says, this is what you get from watching Yellowman in the stream. I blame him. Viking Jerome in the house says, howdy, fellas. Rob says, Viking Jerome finally brings some sense into the stream. Yep, Sunday. I'm not sure. Let me try to look it up. Let me see if that's even up there. $2022. Now, this all could have changed, y'all. March 10th. So the Vivid Seats, the first game that I see is March 18th. Is that what you were talking about? That's Dodgers at Diamondbacks at Salt River Fields and Talking Stick Resort, Scottsdale, Arizona. March 18th, that's Friday at 1 p.m. Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, Salt River Fields. RM checks in. Patriot Roadie says, howdy, Giant. Gents, just got in now. I can relax and watch Valhalla Sports. What? How do I get a job up there, y'all, at this spring training thing? How do I get it? What's the quickest way? If anyone knows in the chat, let me know. Or if you got a hookup. I could be an usher. Pat says, with the Russia, besides the Russia BS, the world seems to be getting back to normal. Please let COVID stay away. What's up, Sebastian? Rob Parsons says, I love big pouches and I cannot lie. RM's hoping that the Giants go 0 for everything on the season. Rob says, can I be the ball boy? Mr. Nobody says, those who rely on spring training for their income are glad baseball is coming back. Viking Jerome wonders, is it possible that Kirk Cousins gets traded to the Colts? I think it is. Gaming with Eli says, come on, Dodgers, sign Freddie Freeman. Sebastian and Fam says, I am Sego the Great. Okay, I remember you now, buddy. Welcome back. Pat says, we could see Rob chasing around some balls. Faint Tomcat says, when does the Dodgers start? Their spring training starts next Friday. And April 7th is the start of the MLB season. The Dodgers start on the 8th here in Arizona. What's up, Arrowhead? Faint Tomcat says if Freddie joins the Dodgers, Jock Peterson should return also. Jock Peterson has been retweeting Dodger fans calling for him to come back to the Dodgers tonight. Let's go to Jock Peterson's Twitter. Let's go to Jock Pop's Twitter here. How come that didn't come up? It's not possible that Jock Peterson's account is not verified. So I don't think that's the real one, y'all. RM says Russian ground troops getting their asses kicked. Man, I saw a video today of... it was a whole group of like Russian vehicles, so tanks, rocket launchers, all that stuff, and they were bunched up in a group, and the Ukrainians were tearing that ass up. Yeah, I looked it up. The Dodgers don't play on opening on the 7th. I don't know if Jock will return or not. I wish he would. Oh, you think Jock Pop blocked me? Nah, I've always been one of his biggest fans. I've been doing good, Sebastian and fam. How you been? Yeah, I think these teams are being real careful about signing people tonight, knowing that it'll look like they were colluding with them. RM says there's more Raider fans in LA than Chargers, and Clippers fans combined. I believe that. Pat says Putin didn't think Ukraine would give them this much of a fight. I know that much. I think I agree with you there. Jorge Gomez says, I really want Freeman. A lot of Dodger fans do, but I'm telling you, it's going to be difficult for the Dodgers to sign them without knowing what's going to happen with Bauer. And if Major League Baseball has not told them what's going on with Bauer, whether he's going to be suspended, whether he can be traded, or all those rules, I don't think the Dodgers could be too active in free agency. Joe Escobar says, hey, Valhalla, good to see you. Just got word baseball is back. Yes, it is, sir. Welcome back, Joe. Kershaw is not currently a Los Angeles Dodger, Joss. Kershaw is a free agent. He's one of the ones we're watching for tonight. He's one of the ones we're watching for. I've heard two teams rumored for Kershaw other than the Dodgers. The Texans and the Blue Jays. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Again, y'all, if you see something breaking, let me know and I'll go to it and we'll check it out. Jorge would give Kershaw 4 years, $95 million. RM says, I've got two nephews in the Marines. Here's the no U.S. involvement in Ukraine. So here's a list of the notable free agents here on MLB.com. Correa, Freeman, Castellanos, Bryant, Trevor Story, Kyle Schwarber, Anthony Rizzo, Conforto, and Suzuki are the position players. Yeah, I saw that, Mr. Nobody. Faint Tomcat wondering if the Padres have any free agents. Who? Pat says we are agreeing on a lot tonight, Valhalla. First Brady, then Ukraine. Rob Parson just shard himself. Mr. Nobody's still locked on MLB Network for any breaking news. Yeah, Bueller's still good. RM says, while we're waiting, Valhalla, serenade us with Valhalla Boys. I'm a Valhalla boy. Waiting on Dodger news. So on MLB Network, they're showing, like movement, but it's all stuff that was done prior to the lockout. I sure hope to. Mr. Nobody said another channel is having a free agency watch party. Well, of course. Of course they are. But they're not Valhalla. Sports Talk's free agency watch party. Jorge Gomez says, Valhalla, John Morrissey is reporting that free agency talks are extremely busy as of right now. Rob Parsons said that was really, really awful. Man, Rob, you sure know how to hurt a guy's feelings. You sure know how to hurt a guy's feelings, Rob Parson. Hey, Tomcat says, I wonder if Dave Roberts will select who he wants, or is it random? Well, the front office is the one that signs the checks. Rob thinks he's going to go back to fourth quarter sports. He's a lot cooler than I am, Rob. Viking Jerome wondering, is T.O. Albert coming back? I don't think so. What do you think, Viking Jerome? Pat says the Mets just signed Freeman. Let's go. Do I believe Pat? I think Pat's just making stuff up. Michael Cedillo says, can we get El Nino? Yeah, it seems like it's all pretty much the same. Viking Jerome still wants to hear that Bulldog music. Rob's going to send me a link for some Rue porn. Pass. I hope to be going live for opening day, Gaming with Eli. RM says, I guess I'm the only one who thinks Freeman is overrated. You guys know, if you remember, from the end of last year, my dream Dodger signing is getting O'Neill from the Reds. That's who I would like to see, but he's not a free agent. No, the Mets don't play out of Brooklyn. Peter Parker says, who would you like them to pick up? Pat says, I got Valhalla looking at it. Hey, I'm just trying to experience it with you all there, Pat. Rob says some of them Rues got a fair set on them. You're going to get in trouble with Mrs. Rob. With Mrs. Parson. She's going to come out and smack you upside your ears. Brandon Hernandez says, I want Nick Castellanos from the Reds, but he's not a free agent. Rob says the wife isn't at home, she's at work. I don't know, Maddie. What do you think, dude? I brought that up at the beginning of this stream that the Dodgers don't have any clarity because Major League Baseball hasn't told them what they are allowed and not allowed to do when it comes to Bauer. So they're kind of handcuffed here. They're kind of handcuffed. Well, here's something interesting. So when this thing went live, Trevor Bauer himself tweeted from his Twitter account, baseball is back, but it was a picture of him wearing a Cincinnati Reds uniform. That's from Bauer himself. Mike says Shui would be a good product. He's that free agent from Japan, right? Pat says, plot twist, Rob's wife is subbed up to Valhalla Sports Talk. She can see your slick comments, Mr. Parsons. Maddie thinks he's going to come back. Trevor Bauer was in trouble for a sexual assault, accused of a sexual assault. Jorge says, Valhalla people on Twitter are saying the Phillies are close to signing Trevor Story. I used to be called Slick all the time, y'all. Back in my moose days, when I used to moose up the dew, you know. Well, that's a random account that says that Trevor Story is on their radar. RM says, didn't Bauer's Dodger teammates turn on their backs on him? They did. They didn't want to have nothing to do with him. Maddie says, lots of stuff going to start happening tomorrow. Tons of free agents signing. MLB will announce its plans for Bauer probably too. RM says, Val was a cholo with Trace Flores in his hair. Bruh. When I used to have my hair with the flippy do, it was always Vidal Sassoon. Moose. Black bottle. Mr. Nobody says, I'm still waiting for that Dodger rally video on Twitter for the new season. You guys just don't know about a young Valhalla. Cavarici dress pants, Bally dress shoes, nice starched white shirt. Let's go. Rolling into the Red Onion. Redondo Beach, California. Or the 50-50 Club, Gießen, Germany. RM says Aquanut Extra Super Hold. Man, oh man, y'all, if I could have just saved half that money I spent in Germany on mini cabs and nightclubs and invested in Microsoft, I'd be a millionaire. Millionaire. Pat says, I bet Valhalla still posts on MySpace. Bruh. My MySpace page was the shit. I learned a little HTML action. That thing was looking tight all the time. No, the Red Onion was not a gay bar, Rob Parson. I always thought it was weird that it was called the Red Onion too, though. That was one of the biggest nightclubs. Might still be down there. I don't know. Come on, anybody else in the chat know about Cavaricci's? RM says Val used to frequent the Blue Oyster. You guys got to remember, when I went in the Army, I didn't go back to LA for a long time. Michael Cedillo says The Hop in La Puente, California. Man, I sure thought we'd have got some news by now. This is literally just a Hangout stream. Mr. Nobody says, sad news to report as a former Dodger pitcher, Odalis Perez has been found dead at his home after falling off a ladder. Oh, that's no good. Jorge Gomez says, Valhalla, I'm going to be your breaking news reporter. There you go, buddy. You hit me, man. You say breaking news, breaking news. RM says Z Cavaricci, 22 pleats in the front, straight disco biscuit pants. There you go, buddy. And some Bugle Boy shorts, my man. I got a funny Bugle Boy short story. I got a real funny one. So, when I got back from Desert Storm, I had like a... No, this was coming back from Germany. I come back from Germany. I'm stationed in Germany, and I get to go home on leave. So I go to Sacramento, California, and that's where they dropped my car off at, is at the port in Oakland. So I go pick the car up, and I drive all the way from Oakland to the town I'm in now to check into the military post here. Long drive, about 16 hours, I suppose. So I get to the hotel, and I said, man, I could really use a beer. So I look at the map of the town, and there's a bar like right across the street from this hole-in-the-wall hotel that I checked into. So I said, well, I'll go over there and get me a beer. So I go walking across the street and walk into this bar, and I've got on some Ocean Pacific shorts with a huge gecko on them. They're black with a hot neon pink gecko on them. And I've got a tank top that says volleyball or some shit on it. I was just chilling, you know. And I walk in there, and man, when I walked through the door, time stopped. Time stopped. There were heads whipping, like, what the hell is this guy wearing? Who the fuck is he? And what's he doing in our bar? So needless to say, I bought a round immediately for the 6 or 7 people that were in there and had me a couple beers. But that's my story about Bugle Boy shorts. Rob Parsons says, Nets smashing the 76ers by almost 40. Rob says this story doesn't sound true. It's a true story, bro. RM says, I used to wear Guess jeans overalls. It was my house raver phase in 1991. I remember those. I remember those too. Pat says, let's go Brooklyn. Nando390 says, my wife's boyfriend says to sign Freddie Freeman. What? What? RM is old like me. RM is old like me, Rob Parsons. I was looking through my YouTube demographics the other day, like who watches my channel. And it's pretty much old people, y'all. It's pretty much old people that watch this channel. They say if you want to be successful nowadays, you need to get in with that 19 to 30 demographic. And I'm in with that 35 to 58 demographic. So yeah, we got a lot of old people that watch Valhalla Sports Talk. Nando says, I'm 4. Well, thanks. You're helping our demographics, Nando. You're getting us closer to the south side of 30. RM says, I used to wear wingtip Doc Marten shoes back then, too. Yep, my ballet dress shoes were wingtips as well. Pat says this is the Golden Girls channel of YouTube. Is something wrong with my microphone? Yeah. But welcome to Valhalla Sports Talk's coverage of basically nothing. We're just hanging out tonight trying to see what happens with Major League Baseball free agent frenzy. And nothing's happened. But if you like what you see, hit that subscribe. Give the video a like. You know, one of the problems with that demographic thing is Robert Rothberg checking in at like 77 years old really draws us to that north of 40 number. You know what I mean? It's Robert's fault. Robert Rothberg is a big reason that our demographics are slanted so much higher to the older people here on YouTube. Pat says most of the old folks watch the news at 9, then head over to catch Valhalla at night. Rob says the Nets are winning by 35. I guess that Simmons didn't play in that game, huh? I guess Simmons did not play in that game? RM says, why do you Australian folks love the NBA so much? You all do. Brandon Hernandez says, nah. So, chat, tell me what you think about these new rules, y'all. Is Jose Altuve going to be able to stand on a base without a ladder if the bases are bigger? Or will he have to just stand next to the base like he's hanging out with the homies with his foot up on the wall? Simmons isn't playing yet. Michael Cedillo says, are they having a mini camp in Glendale? There will be spring training. It starts on Sunday. Games start on Friday. At least the Dodgers start. So MLB and the Players Union agreed to stage games or tours in Mexico, Asia, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, London, and Paris. Viking Jerome says, I'm for old folk. I listen to Valhalla. Mr. Nobody says, MLB Network free agency fever starts tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, Kenley Jansen's a free agent. Am I incorrect, RM? Kenley Jansen is one of the free agents. He had a good year last year. I was actually confident with him by the end of it. Rob Parsons says, we hate the Winter Olympics in Australia, though. RM says, RM says, I'm a huge curling guy. Nothing, Robert, new name. Nothing, man. Nothing that I know about, anyway. Rob says when they brought the MLB to Sydney, it sold out in like 7 minutes. What's the news, Jorge? Break it, Jorge. Tell us what it is. What's the news on Freeman? Michael Cedillo says the Yomiuri Giants versus the Dodgers at the Tokyo Dome. All right, here we go. Jorge breaking some news on the channel. John Morrissey just reported. Nobody yet, Pipper. All right, Rob getting some questions in the chat. Rob says that both kangaroo and what was the other one? Kangaroo and camel both taste like chicken. Viking Jerome has had a buffalo hamburger before. The Bass Pro Shops up in Phoenix, you can go into their little diner thing that they have there, concession stand, and you can get all kinds of weird stuff. Yeah, I saw, I didn't know it was that account, Jorge, that it was basically down to the Yankees or the Braves. I did see that. I haven't brought that up on the screen for a minute. Here's John Morrissey right here 5 minutes ago. Dodgers' interest in Freddie Freeman is sincere based on what I have heard from sources tonight. Braves and Yankees obviously are prominent in the Freeman marketplace. Some in the industry believe he could be the next major free agent to sign. RM says tacos de lengua are awesome. Our moderator, Julian Cruz, the young Julian Cruz, formerly of my basement, he loves them tacos de lengua. What the hell is that? I think there's a big fly in here. Pat says, Rob, you tell us. We're just plain old Americans. No clue, bud. Viking Jerome says, I wouldn't mind eating some kangaroo tacos. Tacos cojones. Yeah, you guys are tearing it up, Jorge Gomez. You guys are putting the breaking into breaking news, no doubt. I'll follow this fool, though. Mr. John Morosi. "18 in the house," as literally nothing is happening on the major league radar. Six hours ago, this is breaking news. Heidi Montag snacks on bison heart as part of her raw meat diet. That's important. Let's go to that. There you go, little Heidi having her some bison heart. Nom nom nomming it right out of the bag. Probably couldn't wait till she got home. Nom nom nom. Thor's doing pretty good, RM. He's doing pretty good. We did a video with him the other night on the channel. You can see it on the front page there. Just a short video with an appearance by Skip. She's a model, that Heidi Montag. I think she's a model of some kind, Rob. Actress. Pat says, Rob, it took you 20 minutes to come up with that reply. Geez, I bet you had to ask Siri for help. Rob's probably peeking in on his buddy over at Fourth Quarter Sports there. Boom, boom, boom. All right, the breaking news is that there is no breaking news right now, and we've lost 3 subscribers since we started the stream. 7813 is the subscriber count, y'all. 7813. What's up, Eric? I really thought some stuff would be happening. So the opening of free agency was 5 o'clock my time. No, 6 o'clock my time. It's now 8:06, and I haven't seen a single deal reported. Much less one for the Dodgers. Mike says, who do the Dodgers open the season against, and who should start? I forgot who they opened the season against. I had it up earlier. But I don't care who starts. A lot of that is to be determined, right? We don't know who our starting pitchers are. We don't know the rotation. Bruce Davis checks in, says, I'm glad Dodgers baseball is back, but Dodgers need pitching. Who's out there worth picking up? When is May supposed to be back? When is May supposed to be able to play? All right, so here, I wonder if this would show up on here if I brought it up in the secondary screen. Let's see if it's lined up. All right, this is from Yahoo Sports, okay? This is their top 30 free agents, so watch for a pitcher. Correa's number 1, Story, the shortstop for the Rockies, 2, Freeman, the first baseman for the Braves, Castellanos, the outfielder for the Reds, Bryant, Conforto, so far I haven't seen a pitcher, Kenley Jansen, the top-rated pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, Carlos Rodon, a left-handed pitcher from the White Sox, Bruce says May might be out for a while. Andrew Chafin of the Athletics. I saw it earlier today that the Athletics have 2 pitchers that many thought were legit. Zach Greinke, Colin Mahue, Danny Duffy, Ryan Tapira, Yusei Kikichi, left-handed pitcher of the Mariners. Bruce Davis says need Kershaw back, but there's not much out there. Michael Pineda, right-handed pitcher of the Twins. Tyler Anderson, left-handed pitcher, Mariners. YouTube got too soft for a bit, couldn't joke around like we used to. People get sensitive. Mr. Nobody thinks Bueller should get the start at Colorado. That wouldn't shock me at all. But there you got an idea who's out there. $16 in the house, though. You know how to get something to happen here, though, is for me to turn off the stream. Yeah, they're saying this, showing the same stuff they've been showing for a couple hours now in MLB. And it's getting late now. We're talking about 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Rob Parsons says, I'm not coming back again if you do. If I log off, you mean? Pat says, my oldest is getting his computer engineering degree. My middle son is getting a degree in automotive and welding. Bruce says, after we lose Mad Max, we got to sign Kershaw back. So opening day, April 7th, teams will play a full 162-game schedule. 9-inning doubleheaders. The 7-inning doubleheader is gone. And no runner on second to start extras. No runner on second. The free runner, ghost runner is gone. Jorge says if it hits 10, there's probably not going to be any more signings until tomorrow. I haven't seen a single signing. Pat has 3 sons, 19, 18, 14. I've been with my wife since 10th grade. "16 in the house, though. Quiet night." Braves fans on Twitter up in arms. They want Freeman to sign back with the world champion Atlanta Braves. What's up, John Emmanuel? Ramos Henderson? King Yellowman says, time for a trade or hit free agency, Val. John's back. The MLB is back. And he's hyped. Thor having nightmares, y'all. Barking at something in his sleep. Mr. Nobody says the home opener is against the Braves. 2 night games and a day game. Yeah, so we'll probably do the 2 night games for sure. KAE checks in. What's up, KAE Sports Talk? Hi, Valhalla. The best news I heard all day. I guess April 7th will be opening day. Well, the 8th for the Dodgers, King Yellowman. I mean, KAE. King Yellowman hates doubleheaders. Mr. Nobody says MT is mountain time where you're at right now. Yep. Yeah, I'll definitely do the first two games of that series. Man, I really thought there would be some news by now. It's only been a couple hours, but I mean, these guys report on Sunday, y'all. They report to spring training on Sunday. You want to have your team intact. Oh, they took his bone in his dreams? Yeah. Rob says doubleheaders are okay down on the Fig. KAE Sports Talk says it'll be very refreshing to watch our Dodgers instead of the Lakers losing to the last place teams in their conference. Exactly. Bruce says there'll be a lot of doubleheaders, which I like. Well, they lost, what, 2 weeks of the season, right? I mean, the equivalent of 2 weeks. So what, 6, 7 extra doubleheaders per team? An hour ago, Robert Rothberg checked in on the channel on one of the earlier streams. Said, be prepared for a giant baseball season. I'm checking on the old YouTube, seeing what's going on over there. Roach, you got a Warrior stream going, doing real well. This Wardy, the guy for the Mets, Wardy NYM, he's had about 600 in there for this free agent frenzy business. For like hours too. He's doing really well. Doing really well. I don't think nothing's going to happen tonight, y'all. I'm starting to think ain't nothing going to happen tonight. I'm not sure yet, Bruce, if we'll do any spring training games. I hope to go up there for some of them. I'd like to find a way to get a job being like an usher for those. Rob Parsons says, geez, he must know how to talk some iss. Well, he's younger than me, Rob. He's getting all of young kids. King Yellowman says, Vaush just did a 24-hour Elder Ring stream and raised $300,000 for Ukraine refugees. That's pretty awesome, dude. Mr. Nobody says, some things usually happen when everyone is sleeping. Jorge says, Valhalla, someone is reporting the calm before the storm. They've been saying that since 3 o'clock today. I watched someone play that game, Yellowman, that Elden Ring last night. That's just kind of a role play thing, right? You don't play against other players. You just kind of have to go through it. So is Vaush like a huge YouTuber, y'all? Rob says, I am asleep now. Hey, man. I'm playing you this awesome music. We could go over and raid Dole Whip Dad. He's doing the same thing as me. He's doing the same thing as me, just trying to wait for some stories. But we don't even hardly have enough people to go raiding with. A Twitch millionaire? Jorge Gomez says John Morosi is reporting that he thinks Freddie Freeman is the first to sign with the team. Pat says the Lakers are poop. Joe Escobar says Bauer was too much of a distraction for the team, always filming for his Twitter. Has a YouTube page too, Joe. YouTube page as well. Rob says we don't have enough people to trick or treat. True. To be raiding anybody. I think I'm about to cut it off, y'all. I think I'm about to cut it off. Hey, happy anniversary to the Viking fans in the chat. It's our 2-year anniversary. 2 months ago today, the Vikings fired Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer. So happy firing of Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman Day. Now, I grew up in LA there, Patrick. Grew up in Los Angeles. El Segundo. But you got to remember, my younger years were in Inglewood and Hawthorne. That's where we lived. Minnie Tees checks in, says, "Brother man, glad I stopped by before you ended. Glad to be back around with baseball in the air." There you go, buddy. Welcome back, dude. Wow, this is a weird one here, y'all. I don't know who this dude is. Is he anybody real? He's supposedly the lead sports anchor for WCVB Channel 5 somewhere. And he says, a veteran Major League Baseball player tells me, and an MLB official confirms, unvaccinated players can't play in Canada, and under new CBA, they will not be paid or receive service time for those games missed in Canada. That's interesting. The player pictures have returned to MLB.com. Remember, during the lockout, they weren't allowed to put player images on the site, and they have returned. Yellowman says Valhalla grew up in Inglewood. The kids called him Tragic Johnson. Nobody says anything Morosi reports should be called Jomo bombs. Yep, back in those days, Pat. Pat taking little shots at me, but it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me when it's Pat. Because it's Pat, y'all. All right, let's take a look at this Bob Nightingale's Twitter here. All right, so according to this Bob Nightingale, Major League Baseball's historic economic gains due to this lockout. A $20 million rise in the 2022 luxury tax threshold is the biggest single-year increase in CBT history. The $129.5 thousand minimum salary increase is the biggest single-year increase in the history of baseball. Pat says, let's just not play baseball in Canada. Jorge says, I want to see like 50 signings tomorrow. They've had us waiting all day. So 16 teams will have opening day on Thursday, April 7th. The remainder will have opening day on Friday, April 8th. The first game on the schedule is Red Sox-Yankees in the Bronx on the 7th. King Yellowman says, get ready for $30 mushaladas. Yeah, that you figure that stuff will go up, huh? So updated World Series odds according to Maxim Bet USA. Dodgers are the favorite to win the 2022 World Series at plus 600. Astros plus 850. Blue Jays plus 850. Yankees plus 1,000. Padres plus 1,100. Mr. Nobody says the rivalry on opening day. That's a pretty good first game. He's doing good, Jorge. Thanks, man. He's doing good, man. Pat says $15 beers at MLB games now. Book it. Yeah, is there a number? Is there a number that it gets too much, where you literally be like, I won't drink a beer while I'm in there because it's too much, or where you just say I won't go there because it's too much to buy a beer? I think you kind of. I think just like everything else, I think it's a pendulum that swings back and forth, and I think that's going to have to come down. I think it'll have to come down. Mr. Nobody says the Braves start their title defense on April 7th at the Miami Marlins. Yellowman says, I've had $18 beers at Dodger Stadium. It was $14 for a Budweiser. I don't think it's ever been that bad for me, but I don't know. That's getting pretty close to a number where I would just say no. USC Trojan fan checks in, says, what is the purpose of the larger bases? I haven't seen anything that said that's really a thing yet, but apparently larger bases to make it easier to steal bases, easier to get on base, avoid the tag type thing. Pat says, honestly, I love sports and going to games, but sometimes I like to watch at home. More cleaner restrooms, much better and safer environment. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking, like the last baseball games I've been to, I've always had suite tickets for the Diamondbacks from my prior job. I used to get tickets for the suites, and booze was included in those. You know, I go to hockey games up north, and I just don't see me reaching in my wallet for a $18 beer. I don't see that happening. Yellowman says it's supposed to make it easier to steal, less likely to slide off for replays. That makes sense. I do get the feeling they want more scoring in baseball. Tyrell Coleman says it decreases injury, increases stolen bases. That makes sense. I had a picture of the bases that kind of gave you an idea about how much bigger it was. But in order for it to make any sense, you'd have to have a pretty good idea of what a regular size base was. You know what I mean? I doubt I'll be able to find that picture again. Mr. Nobody says, corrections and retractions. Braves start title defense at home against the Reds. They'll also get their World Series rings and banner that day. SD Gaming checks in and says, let's go Dodgers, as we drop to 8 in the chat. Terrell says, I heard it's not going to be in the traditional shape. Jorge says, Valhalla, it's being reported that shortstop Adrelton Simmons has a connection with the Yankees. SD says they're up to $8 at a gas station in Los Angeles for a gallon of gas. All right, y'all, we're pushing 9 o'clock my time. It's 8:38. I just don't think anything's going to happen, y'all. I don't think anything's going to happen. Watch for us to maybe come online tomorrow at some point, should something big occur. But this free agent frenzy was a free agent flop for this night, y'all. At least as of now. It's pushing midnight on the East Coast. So I don't think it's happening like they thought it would. So I'm going to check out, y'all. Yellowman says that gas station's always like $2 more than everyone else. All right, y'all. So I'm going to bounce. Listen, y'all, we'll see you in the next stream. We've got the 2 NASCAR streams coming up. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. And we'll figure out what's going to happen on this Dodger side here. Getting going here. I don't know if we'll be doing any spring training games. But we definitely got the 8th circuit circled on the calendar of April. But you guys have a great spring training. They got to be there on Sunday. Yeah, but GG's, everybody. GG's. We'll see you in the next stream. Valhalla Sports Talk reminds you to be nice to your neighbor. And Valhalla Sports Talk is off the air, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Be safe. Happy birthday, Rob. Happy birthday, my man. The big 5-0.